You gotta put yourself in that cage. When I'm in that cage, bro, don't touch me. For me, it's the equivalent of Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator picking up the dirt, smelling the dirt. It's go time.
Up before the dawn, ready for Judgment Day. A lethal underdog, walking on to make 'em pay. Woke up feeling dangerous. That stuff so contagious. We got 10 toes down, so let the haters say what they say.
If you ain't orange and brown, you don't matter anyway. Woke up feeling dangerous. That's us. We got that dog check. Found it away. You made the wrong bet. If you doubting our game, we give our last breath. One more play, and we'll make a name. We're ready for Judgment Day. Against the world. My city is on the brink. Tonight we're about to go. I'm hearing the crowd begin to rise in stereo. Sky's bringing Armageddon in off the lake. Thunder rolls. And all the people shouting out a name. Cleveland, born to fight and believe in. We ride or die, hear 'em screaming. Every boy and girl. Cleveland against the world.
All right, everybody. We are live. It's week 12. We've got a game tonight. It's going to be a little interesting one today in Baltimore. I've got my dad and Mike who are here alive with me, as always. The Brownie pre-game show. Mike, how's it going? So it must, yes. Wearing the away hat and the old color rush. I like it. I think dad, you're wearing the same one, right? Oh, the Baker sweatshirt. Yes. And the color rush. I'm just going with the old retro. I think this is a Fresh Brewed Tees, now defunct Cleveland-based t-shirt company. Ooh, the pendant is live. Welcome everybody. Thanks for stopping by. We got Steve Z, Tim, Lynn, Xander, Thrasher, Andrew, Cleveland Ethan, Jonathan Schlegel. Well, who else we got here? Ms. Plug is in the house. Isaiah Gassina, Pressure Jones. I saw that Derek Jones re-upped for a tier 2 membership. Thank you very much, Derek. Andre's in the house. Harry LaFontaine, Henry Chinosky. Who else we got in here? Ed Miller, Hambone. We'll let everybody else kind of start trickling in. Haven't even tweeted it out yet, guys. This is another prime time game. Dad, what are your thoughts on the game tonight? We'll begin with you. I think you're thinking 2 years ago. Last year we got our doors blown out in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mike, what about you? Right. Mhm. Well, hold on, guys. Unfortunately, I think we've got a bit of a sound issue, but as we go, I believe you can. Everybody can hear me. I think that I have to make some adjustments on my mixer to allow everybody else to be able to see or to be able to be heard. So bear with me for one moment while I work that out. But Chubbawobble Hub 24, thank you for the 2 months. And we had a super chat that came in from Steve Sullivan that was deleted, but Steve is a friend of he's a friend of the show. He's a good friend of my dad's, and he's a Ravens guy, so he's definitely allowed to be in here on that. So everybody hang tight while I try to work out the audio issues. Give me a second.
The end, and then it just it hit both of us. And
oh wow,
yeah, last night was rough. Like I literally 102 fever, the chills, aches, but I'm pretty much back to normal. I'm a little tired.
How did you react to the second shot?
Second shot.
Well, my
Okay, sorry about that, guys. Just a little fun technical difficulties to start off the show, as we always do. Anyway, let's go back in. Since we didn't get to hear the opening monologue from my dad and Mike, let's go ahead and start the opening monologue once again. And Dad, go ahead, give us your thoughts. Give us your opening thoughts on the game tonight.
And we saw your comments, Verdine, before Dan gets started. I saw that in that chat, that we were actually making valid points because you couldn't hear us. But yeah, Dan.
All right. Well, again, 16 teams win each week, 16 teams lose. And you know, I'm having a difficult time with my pick 'em from week to week. Just when I think the Eagles and the Chargers and the Titans are doing well, bang, 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 they lose. So the good teams find a way to win. And certainly the Buccaneers did today. The Packers are finding a way to win. As we speak, the 49ers are on a roll. It looks like they're going to win. So we need our team to step up. Baker needs to have a good game. We can't win without Baker having a good game. Can't put it all on Chubb. You can't put it all on the defense. He has got to play as mistake-free as he can, and the defense needs to step up. Hopefully Woods learned from the Dolphins game, where they put pressure on, or the Jets, whoever it was that beat Baltimore with the blitz. If he plays back and just lets Jackson bring the game to him, he's going to lose. So let's hope they play aggressive. They got nothing to lose at this point, being 6-6. Or 6-5. We have to win this game, and then we have a bye week to really celebrate, and look forward to the second one. So my thoughts are not overly optimistic on a definite win, but it should be a good game. And I just hope we don't get blown out like the Steelers got blown out today. Roethlisberger played terrible, including a pick six. And let's hope Baker doesn't throw that early interception and has a good game and gets himself back on track.
Excellent. What about you, Mike? What are your opening thoughts?
Let me see if I can remember what I said. Well, first and foremost, Calais Campbell inactive. That's a huge win for us in the interior portion of their line. Having Hunt back, now you've got your two-headed monster. And again, I think I also alluded to Dearness probably getting some carries as well. So they should run the ball, and they should run it often, and they should run it well enough that we should be able to get the passing game going, right. Especially those rollouts on the edge and some play action. The other thing that stands out an hour or so before game time is the fact that Rashard Higgins is a healthy scratch tonight. So in a week where you're not going to have Schwartz because he still has the effects of the concussion, you got DPJ back, but as we know, a groin is not, one false move and you tweak that thing. So really bizarre to see Rashard a healthy scratch. I don't know if there was some type of disciplinary action or what have you, but so from that standpoint, interesting. And I think I alluded to earlier that it's a little microcosm of his time in Cleveland. It's just bizarre. But yeah, I think from the defensive side of the ball, tonight we'll see why we drafted JOK first. I think you'll see him on the field early and often. And I think you'll see him in a some type of spiral on Lamar. I think that's the only way that you're going to be able to contain him. Along with, we'll see if Joe Woods took any notes from that Dolphins game, and if they bring pressure a lot and show blitz a lot. I don't know if Joe Woods has it in him, but we'll see.
Right.
Well,
how about you, Mike? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think this is a really important game. I think whoever wins this game is going to have a lot of momentum. They can very well likely win the next one, right? So if we can go into this game and pull out a win somehow, if we can play like we played against the Bengals, we're in good shape. If we play like we played against the Lions or the Steelers, we're in bad shape. But the thing that I think we have going for us tonight is we've got the full complements of our offensive line. All 5 original starters are in the lineup tonight. We have both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb who are active and ready to go, and Dearness Johnson backing them up for when we need to, switch it up even further. I think a lot of this game's going to come down to the defense, and I think a lot of the game's going to come down to how well Baker plays. And if Baker plays like he played against Cincinnati, look out. We're going to be in really good shape. But Dad, like you were saying, if Joe Woods doesn't look at that game again with Baltimore versus Miami and say, oh, that's what we have to do to stop Lamar Jackson. We have to put pressure on him and relentless pressure nonstop. Right. If we do that, we're going to make him have to make decisions. And at some point, he's not going to be able to just make every decision with his legs.
Right. Look
So-
at Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh against the Bengals today. We watched almost the whole game until it was out of hand. But the Bengals put pressure on Roethlisberger from the start, from day one. I mean, they got in his face. They were in the center where he had to look over them and throw over them. And, you know, he threw a pick six, an ugly pick six. Now maybe the guy ran the wrong route. He was supposed to do an out. I mean, you know, to the sidelines, and he broke to the inside, but the corner just stepped right in front of him and just walked into the end zone. So, you know, if Baker doesn't have a good game, it's going to be a very long night. But if he does a good game, I think we stand a pretty good chance of beating them. We've done it before. We have the talent. So let's see what happens.
I completely agree with that. Mike, talk to me about some of the injuries that we see. I was looking over earlier today, and it looked like half the damn Ravens were questionable tonight. And we only really have Schwartz out, and you were mentioning Higgins. But on the Ravens side, are you aware of any of the injuries or anybody else being out besides Boykin, Cedric Aboulier? And is that it? Or they have other guys that are going to be out tonight?
Jimmy Smith is out. I lost you guys there for a second. I apologize. Jimmy Smith, Chris Westry, tackle Cedric Agubihi, and tight end Josh Oliver. That's not a big one. So Campbell and Jimmy Smith, Boykin and Westry. So, I mean, a couple that make you go, okay.
And Marquise Brown has been limited practice all week with a thigh injury. So he's another one that who knows what's going to happen there.
Yeah. And I was talking about it earlier, and I forgot when we got back in, but the other thing that I find interesting this week is, you know, last Sunday, you know, Baker had the knee, he had the heel, he was limping all over the place. He didn't look very well. They were talking about how banged up he is. And then all day today and last night, you know, the reports started flooding out from Rappaport and Schefter, et cetera, that, you know, this is the best that Mayfield's felt since the season started. And he was actually taken off the injury report. So
yeah,
bizarre. I don't know what magic drug he took, you know, Sunday to Sunday, but, you know, hey, if that's the case, then, you know, we'll be able to see a little more mobile Baker. That I think he was 6 for 77. I think at one point, it might not have been 77, but he had a lot of rushing yards. The last time they played, I believe it was. And yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, Baker has been off for a while, and at this point, if we can get back to what this team was designed to do, right? This team was designed specifically to run the football effectively, run off, and then work everything off of the play action, and then go from there, right? And if we can get back to that, I think we're in really good shape, and we have a chance to beat them. I mean, they're not. This isn't the same Ravens team. They're very beat up, and you know it's going to come down to what Lamar can do, because I think we can beat this team. I know that they're off to a decent record, like they always do. They're very well coached. They're very well prepared. They have a good system that's very consistent year in and year out.
You got to eliminate the penalties, the stupid penalties.
Yeah.
I watched the games, you know, all the pro games on Thanksgiving, and then all the college games yesterday. And it strikes me as just unbelievable how people, experienced guys who played for years and years and years, can line up in the neutral zone. We can see it on TV that the guy's hand is even with the ball, or his head is over the ball as you look down, and they do it. And, you know, you put your team 1st and 15, you know, you hit a guy out of bounds when you shouldn't hit him, or the quarterback, and they're constantly grabbing wide receivers. It's just like, well, catch me if you can, you know, I'm going to grab every down, and they'll call me once. You know, I don't know what they teach him. turn your head on the pass play so you don't get called for face masking or that type of thing. Just stupid penalties. And we've had more than our fair share. So hopefully we clean a little bit of that up. We don't self-destruct and shoot ourselves in the foot with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And not to open any wounds from yesterday. I'll be brief on the topic, but I mean, we saw how many pre-snap penalties Ohio State had yesterday.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were complaining about Ryan Day's play calling. But man, if you go back and you look through all those pre-snap penalties, I mean, they took him out of 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5, at least 4 or 5 times yesterday.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it totally changes how you're going to call a game. And we can't have that tonight, to your point. You know, the competitive kind of penalties, pass interference here and there. I mean, if a guy's beat and you tug on him, okay, I'm all right with it. You know, if you're getting beat, that's fine, but you have to be smart, and especially on the pre-snap penalties, you know, and that goes both ways. Because again, yesterday, if you remember, there was I think it was a 3rd down play, and somebody was in the neutral zone, and it extended a drive. So you just can't have those type of penalties. It's just undisciplined football, and you can't have it.
Right.
Yeah, and that's actually the one thing that I think we should look out for tonight, because I think if you put talent up against itself here, I think that the Browns have yet, in the entire time he's been on the team, have found an answer for Mark Andrews, and I think he is the one guy to watch. Devonta Freeman's been running the ball very well for them recently as well, so I think like they have a nice veteran running back. I don't think he's a dominating type running back, but he's definitely he's a good consistent guy in the backfield. Lamar is going to be Lamar. And with all their wide receivers, I mean, they're going to have to rely heavily on Bateman and Marquise Brown. But the big question mark, I think, on that team now is, how do we stop Mark Andrews? You know, what is the plan for that? And then secondly, can we not have those penalties like you guys were talking about? It has been, I mean, honestly, ever since the Freddie season in 2019, it has been nonstop penalties. Last year, we got away from it and we were winning. And we were like, wow, these penalties are gone. But Mike, as you pointed out on the Wednesday show, you know, when you don't have fans in the stands screaming and yelling, you know, and everybody, you're playing games, you know, in a bubble, you know, you have a lot more control over things.
Yeah.
Whereas screaming and yelling and the pressure of the moment, it could possibly be something that has gotten to these guys. I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, my number one question I'd be asking Kevin Stefanski, if I was one of these reporters, is, Kev, what are you doing? What are you doing about the discipline issues on this team?
Right.
Because that is one thing that is holding us back significantly. And if he doesn't have an answer for that, then what is it?
Yes, and it's not just us. I mean, you look around the league and you watch every game, like you and I, Mike, were talking about later or earlier today, the fact that it's so disheartening as a fan to see flag after flag after flag. I can't remember. Maybe it was the Dallas game, one of the games on Sunday or on Thursday. They had 20 penalties, 10 on each side. It just seemed like every time it was a good play, there's a flag. Every time, you know, somebody broke out or whatever, it's holding or this or that and the other thing. It just takes away from the momentum, and the refs just they need to change some of the rules to make it a little bit more flexible and to take some of this power away from the referees, because they're really controlling games and the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it very difficult to watch the NFL sometimes when you see these calls and how much they actually impact the game, right? It's just it's difficult to watch. Sometimes you get away with them, but if I were to say, if anybody would do some analysis, the amount of calls that we have gotten wrong, and not small calls, right? Not small, like big calls that have impacted wins and losses.
Right.
That's the piece that is really frustrating. It's those, and I don't know. My thoughts on the refs are they're terrible and they impact the game. And it's annoying to have to experience that because, like Dad, as you were saying, every play, good or bad, you have to hold your breath and go, is there a flag? Is there a flag? Is there a flag? And then sometimes even 30 seconds later, the play's over. They've gone into the huddle. They lined up to do another play. And then they throw a flag.
Right.
I was real close.
Or somebody in New York reviews it or something and calls them and said, hey, I think you should look at this play. So now you got people.
And they just like, hey, we're going to toss a flag on that one.
Yeah.
What?
Right. So let's hope also injuries. Let's not, since we're talking about injury reports and whatnot, let's hope that this will be one of the games that we get through without losing a key player.
Right.
It seems like every week somebody goes out with a ankle or a calf or a elbow or a concussion. It's a violent game, and we're certainly not the only team that loses players, but you have to have your team relatively healthy, and we got no excuses this time. So if we don't come out and play the way we're capable of, well, then that's on us, and we can't blame it on the refs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been one of those things that, if it's not Baker, then it's Jarvis, one of our offensive linemen. If it's not an offensive lineman, it's Chubb, and then it's Hunt, and then it's, it's really been everybody of significance on this team has been injured. Denzel, Greedy, JOK, everybody has missed time other than Miles. Miles has somehow been able to escape everything. So knock on wood. I hope I didn't just jinx him, but
Yeah, I was curious. I think I mentioned to you, Mike, during the week, why did we add a kicker to the practice squad? Is there something with our kicker that we don't particularly like or we don't know? Now, he wasn't promoted to the active squad, but they must have thought enough that they needed to add a kicker to our practice squad. So,
I mean, the only thing
yeah, Mike.
The only thing I was thinking is Chase he has slipped a little. He's been slipping over the last couple of weeks, but I don't think they're in a position yet that they're wanting to make a change. But I think they're probably just watching it. Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, I was just gonna say he's been on it all year. It's like a COVID thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nagar has been on it all year.
Okay, but why do you need to take up a spot when you've got a kicker that's kicking, whether you like it or not? He's on the active squad. He's done reasonably well. They're fighting to bring people up. They waived. Who was it? Was it Joe Jackson? They waived.
Yep.
So I mean, they cut him loose and they keep the kicker. I mean, I don't understand that. There's got to be something. Teams like this don't make moves because they like a guy or whatever. I mean, they make moves for a reason, and there's got to be something underlying that. So let's hope our special teams do well, and let's hope our kicker does well, because it may come down to 3 points, field goal at the end. Who knows? Take the points. Don't go for it on fourth. That type of thing. Old school football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of that, I just noticed that it looks like there's 18 seconds left in the Rams Green Bay Packers game. Green Bay is currently winning. I don't know who's got the ball. I don't know if there's actually a chance for LA to come back here at this point. And
they're down by 8 points.
They've scored.
They have the ball.
Oh, they have the ball with 18 seconds left. Okay. And it looks like Odell caught a touchdown pass. Is that what you were going to show me?
No. What I was going to show you was a pick six by off of what's his name, the Rams quarterback.
You want to laugh? OBJ had his Browns cleats on the whole first half, and then they must have said something to him, and he took the orange cleats off, and then he's 5 for 81 with a 40-yard touchdown. So maybe he was just wearing the wrong cleats this whole time.
Maybe.
Well, it's 18 seconds left. They're on the 1st and 10 on the chart on the Rams 35. So they're not close to scoring, and they're up by 8 points.
And I
Yeah.
need that game to end because I'm playing against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers had a decent game. I mean, a lot of yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, not bad.
He makes it look easy. He really does.
He's one of those guys. I mean, you think about that. I want to say Aaron Rodgers came out of Cal when I was in college.
It's been a while.
I mean, think about that though. Think about how crazy it is to draft a guy in like 2003 and then have him be your quarterback for like 20 years.
Look at Brady.
Brady, yeah.
If you want to go one step further.
Yeah, Brady, Roethlisberger, some of these guys that you can build around for forever.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's at some point the Browns are going to have to land one of those guys. Statistically, it's impossible to miss this many times. But I think with Baker, I attribute a lot of this season to the injuries. I really do. I'm not trying to make excuses for him because he's thrown some beautiful passes and then he backs him up with some garbage. So it's I think the thing that's really bothering the fan base about Baker is the inconsistency. Like, when are we going to see the 5 touchdown pass Baker? Are we ever going to see that? And is that possible with the way that this team is designed?
Or a comeback win in the last 2 minutes. I mean, those are the trademarks of Brian Sipe, Bernie Kosar.
Look at Brady today.
Guys.
Brady did it again today.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, he scored too early because the other team had the ball, a chance to do it. But you put the points on the board and then you turn it over to your defense and hope they step up, which they did. And but Baker's obviously struggled the last several games because of the injuries. And let's see what he does today if he's healthy and he makes the right reads, he makes the right throws, and the play action works. And Chubb just does his normal thing and has a great game.
Yeah, and I mean, it just we'll see. Baker needs to have. These are the types of games, though. These next couple games, right? So we've got the Ravens, the Raiders, Steelers, the Bengals.
Right.
I mean, these are the games. It's almost like fourth quarter. It's almost like a fourth quarter of a game.
Yeah, after watching Aaron Rodgers this afternoon again, I mean, I'm not looking forward to that Christmas game, especially if it's one that we really need. I can just see him with that protection and the way he calls the game, the way he throws it, the strength of his arm on these little passes that are sharp and right there. He just flings it, very much Mahomes like, but not the scrambling type. He's just a very heady player that takes advantages of teams and their weaknesses. So that could be a long game for us if our defense doesn't step up and we don't put pressure on him, find a way to knock him off his game.
Well, each one of these next 6 are going to be really tough. Ravens twice, the Raiders who have been playing well, the Packers who are playing well, the Steelers who always give us a game, even though they got blown out. It's going to be in Heinz Field, so we're going to have to play them tough. And then we got the Bengals at home to end out the season. I mean, now's the time where we got to start getting hot. Right now is the time, but we have an uphill battle, and this is like the fourth quarter, and we got to come back from behind and win. Right? We're still very much statistically, mathematically in it, but we have to be able to come through in these tough games. And this is what's going to really measure us as a team anyway. Because if we get blown away or we can't beat the Ravens, the Raiders, the Packers, the Steelers, and the Bengals, then what are we going to do in the playoffs anyway? Because you're going to run into the teams like the Chiefs. You're going to run into teams like the Packers, right? And if we're getting blown out, I mean, from what I've seen so far this season, I've said it all season long. I don't feel like this is a championship level Browns team that we're seeing. I think it's a good team. And if everybody's healthy and all the stars align, I think we can be very good. Look at what we did to the Bengals, 41-6. Look at what we did to the Bears, 26-6. We have some games where the stars align and we just play great. But then other games like the Cardinals, we weren't ever really in it. The Patriots game just humiliated us, right? So the identity of this team is all over the place. And I think at this point in the season with 6 games left, it is do or die. And if we want to try to make the playoffs in an AFC North division that is just, there's no room for error. Right. So we have 4 divisional games left. I would say if we win the 4 divisional games and lose the 2 out of division, Raiders and Packers, we've got a decent chance. If we can get to 10 wins, we've got a chance. I don't know mathematically how it's going to shake out, but 10 wins, you got a chance. I think it's probably going to take 11. So we need what? 5 of the last 6? That's an uphill battle, guys, but it's going to determine if we are a championship contender or we're just playing football on Sundays,
Yeah, they could you lose today and still get in? Yeah, there's ways, but I think more than anything, and you touched on it, like when are you finally going to beat a good team, no less a good team in your division, and get that statement win? And tonight there's no better night than tonight. And if they don't, then all of a sudden, then you have the doubt creeping in again, and then you face them again in 2 weeks. So I don't think it's a must win, but it would go a very, very, very long way to get this W tonight, especially, in the rat nest.
Right. Exactly. And yeah, I agree with everything.
I agree. Guys, doggrooves.com. If you guys want to get involved in the giveaway, we're doing a Sabo apparel t-shirt giveaway. And the way to get into that, how did I skip over that? The way to get into the giveaway is by heading over to doggrooves.com, just signing up. Takes a second. And you can just add some points. We also have some like little mini giveaways to give yourself some more points. And then you can take those points and then say, hey, I want to risk X amount of chances to win certain things. So we do Sabo apparel giveaway t-shirts on the pregame shows. And then we also do Victory Monday mugs on Wednesdays when we win. We have the green light to give away a Victory Monday mug from Cleveland Clothing Co. So Sabo apparel, Cleveland Clothing Co. Help us out. Doghoofs.com, which is brought to you by Schlegel Law. So head over to doghoofs.com, get yourself entered into that giveaway. We're going to be doing that, pulling the winner in about 20 minutes. We're going to take you right up to game time. It's live. It's on television, so I don't have to stream it. It is on TV today, thank God, prime time. And it's going to be an interesting one. This is Browns Ravens. Last year was wild. The first game it was not even competitive, but the second game was, one of the best games we played all season, and the defense couldn't do it. The defense could not stop Lamar Jackson. So hopefully, again, I can't stress this enough. Hopefully, Joe Woods looked at what they did in the Miami game and looked at that as a roadmap to how you can stop Lamar Jackson. And if he didn't, and Dad, as you were saying, he came out and said, no, we're going to do all things the same. We've got our game plan. We're going to go into it with it. Hopefully that's a smokescreen, because my Lord, look at what the Dolphins did. They held him they made him look human. If you could put pressure on him and make any quarterback, you put constant pressure. Don't stop it. And they're going to do that to us tonight, to Baker. They're going to do that to us.
Right. He's got to get rid of the ball quicker. He can't stay in the pocket. He's got to roll out. He's got to do play action. He's got to do everything that can freeze the linebackers. Hopefully not throw it from the pocket too often, where he's got to throw it over guys who are 6'6" with their hands stretched up. A lot of balls being batted down these days in the pros. just because the guys are so damn big.
Yeah.
And Baker's not that great, big, and so he's got to move to free up lanes, and he's pretty accurate when he throws, especially when he's moving to the right. When he has to turn his shoulders from the left, it's a little bit more dicey for any quarterback. But he's proved that he can do it. He's proved that he's got a strong arm. He can get to the sidelines, and he can throw the deep ball like he did to Peoples-Jones a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just gotta have the opportunities and a little bit of pass protection and a little bit of creativity on the part of Stefanski and the rest of the team, especially in the red zone, especially at the 5-yard line, 1st and 5, 1st and goal. Don't just hand it off right up the middle and run into people. I mean, do something creative, flip it around, play action, more misdirection, that type of thing. Make it a little bit more exciting. So hopefully that's in the game plan tonight.
Yeah. I mean, God, I really do hope that they added some stuff in there. And because they telegraph quite a lot of their stuff. Anybody who just watches the Browns games can really easily guess what's going on. I almost want to take a pen and paper up there and just guess at the formation, guess what the Browns are doing, and just say, like, almost like the old bar game. If you go to bars, you can play this game called QB1, where you can actually watch a game and then pick pass, run, and you get points whether you pick things that are correct or not. And it would be interesting to see how well I can do against this, since I've seen so much Browns, and I could tell by formations most of the time. My wife can even tell what they're doing. So if my wife can see it, then obviously professional defensive coordinators can see it as well.
Especially if you have your two best running backs are healthy and ready to play and ready to run. You got your offensive line, so there's no reason you can't get creative to free these guys up, because once they hit that line of scrimmage and there's a hole big enough for them to get through, they can be very disruptive. It's not just going to be 5 yards. It could be 70 yards. It could be 25 yards. I mean, they're capable of ripping these things off, both of them, Hunt and Chubb. And it's to our advantage to do that, as opposed to plain vanilla, here, there, everywhere, and very predictable, and makes it easy on the defense. Let's make it hard on the defense.
Yeah. If we can play consistent, if we can put pressure on Lamar Jackson, if penalties don't come, and we got to get breaks. We can't make mistakes. We can't turn the ball over and allow them to pile it on, because I really don't think we're a team that's kind of well built to play from behind. We're get up and run the ball and then run out 6 or 7 minutes to win the game. That's kind of like who we are.
Right.
So missing Calais Campbell, I think, could be a big deal. Like he's a difference maker on defense, right? So
Sure.
And this is what's happened to us. I mean, how many times have we had like Myles Garrett going to be out for like several weeks, or Nick Chubb's going to be out for several? Like, how many times has that happened to us as Browns fans, where we have to go in these skeleton crews and then we're expected to play at the same level? It doesn't happen. Right, you go from Myles Garrett to Porter Gustin, right? There's a big drop off of the talent. Not to say anything bad about Porter. I think he's a fine player, but he's not Myles Garrett. So we shall see, guys. I mean, this is one of those games that you kind of circle on the calendar as like a fun one. My dad's been there in Baltimore watching this game before. Mike, you're headed up there.
Going to be loud, so
Yeah.
it's
going to be loud
for that too.
Mike, you're going to be headed up to Cleveland for the next one, right?
Yeah, I'll be up there for the Ravens and 2. So that'll be I mean, imagine what that environment will be like, coming off of a win tonight, the bye week, and then we'll be fired up. The team should be fired up, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So you just gotta go out there and you gotta win the game. It gets to a point where the coulda, woulda, shoulda. It
Right.
just needs to go away. You need to go into Baltimore. You need to go into Pittsburgh. I mean, we know we can go into Cincinnati and whoop the Bengals, at will, but until you can continuously, and I know we obviously won in Pittsburgh last year in the playoffs, but you need to continuously be able to go into another team's building in your division and be able to push them around.
Right.
It has to happen. And what better night to start doing that than tonight? I still don't think that Lamar is 100%. I don't know what he's got going on with this respiratory thing. But I don't think he's 100%. And, if the play calling is up to par tonight and Baker is as healthy, quote unquote, as they've been saying that he is the past couple days, then there's no excuses. And if you're Joe Woods, you better figure it out, because he is literally a few games away from being a linebacker coach, because for somebody else, obviously, because, his stints as a defensive coordinator have not gone, the way that, you would want them to go. So we'll see if he has an answer tonight. I hope so. Again, you drafted JOK for this reason. The front office and the coaching staff has not been shy about it. They've come out when asked,
Right.
did you draft JOK for Lamar? And then the answer has been, yeah, for Lamar and Patrick Mahomes. So, you got the horses. Now you gotta put them in position to make plays, and you have to win the game. So
Yeah, if we win these two games, we're going to be tied with Baltimore at 7-5. No, we'll win 2, so we'll be 8-5, and they'll be 7-5. So we'll be ahead of Baltimore, probably still behind Cincinnati, since they're 7-4 now, and certainly ahead of Pittsburgh, who's 5-1. So a 2-game win streak puts us at or near the top.
yeah.
And I don't know who Cincinnati plays next week.
But the cool thing is too, and then we're resting so we win tonight, as we're resting next week.
Yeah.
Baltimore goes to Pittsburgh. So
Oh,
you
even
know how,
better.
yeah,
Even
you know how
better.
physical those games are.
Right.
So now you find a way to win tonight in a physical game, then you get off. Those guys go and have to play an even more physical game the way those two teams always play, and then you got to come to our house. I mean, it's ripe for the pickings. I mean, as fans, we know what has to be done, but unfortunately, we don't step between the lines. They have to want it as bad as we want it. So
We were
we'll see.
complaining about the Baltimore schedule earlier on and how much it favored them in terms of who they were playing and the breaks and so forth. They won a lot of squeakers, games they probably should have lost, but they wound up winning. Imagine if it was the other way around. Imagine if we were, didn't have the bye week like Baltimore, and we had to come back after we lose to them, then we got to come back and play them again.
Yeah.
And they have a week off to rub it in. So it's pointing in our direction. And we just have to take advantage of it if we can. And we certainly have the talent. It's a question of, can the coaches put the game plan together? Can the guys step up? Can they avoid the stupid stuff and play 4 quarters of solid football? And maybe it comes down to a field goal at the end. I mean, it's going to be, I think, a close game.
Yeah, guys, you have another about 10 minutes to enter into the Sabo Apparel t-shirt giveaway. It's going to be one of the orange Cleveland helmet t-shirts from those guys. So you got another couple minutes to do that. We're going to be pulling the winner here in a second. We're about 28 minutes away from kickoff as well. So, hope everything goes well. And then we'll be off next week, and then we'll be back for Browns. What time is that Browns game in? Is it a 1:00? Yeah, it's a 1:00 game in Cleveland the next time we come back. And then, we've got a primetime game on Christmas. And then January 3rd is the Monday Night Football game against the Steelers. So we've got 3 primetime games left here this season. Not to mention the fact that the Raiders game is a 4:30 game, since they're catering to the West Coast audience. It's not necessary. And so is, so Packers is a 4:30 game as well, but obviously it's on Christmas Day. If we guys, Mike, let me throw this scenario at you. We win against the Ravens. We win against the Ravens again. Then we beat the Raiders. And then we're going up against probably the best team in the NFL, the Packers, on Christmas Day. How big is that game? And is that almost like a Super Bowl type warm up for us?
Well, you figure and from your lips to God's ear, but if that were to happen, you're talking about, we would have started one of those runs that are some consider magical at the end of a season, to where you're peaking at the right time. And so if that were to happen, you're looking at something, you're looking at the start of something possibly magical, I would say.
Yeah. If we win these next 4 games in a row, that gets us to 10 wins. And then we've got kind of the downhill version with the Steelers and the Bengals to wrap up the season. But it'll just go, that's the kind of magical stuff that I would have thought, obviously we were going to be able to beat the Patriots, right? I was thinking stuff like that this season, and it didn't quite go our way.
Yeah.
Right.
And that first Steelers game was the one that I was like, this is the one that's going to bite us. It's going to come back to bite us, the Steelers game, because it was there. It was possible. The Chargers game was close and it was there. It was possible to win. And we just couldn't do it, and those were the 2 games that, if you think back to last year, we won those close games. Right. So that's kind of how I look at it. The seasons oftentimes come down to 1 or 2 small plays. That's the frustrating thing about football, sports in general. Like golfing, it could come down to a putt. Baseball could come down to a pitch. Basketball to a shot. Every sport has its one thing. Ours could come down to a field goal. Who knows? But
they can't throw a flag in golf. It's all on you or what your opponent
That's
does.
right. If you touch the ball, that's on you.
Yeah,
Right.
It's not like tennis where the guy, you have to make a play, then you hit it to a guy and he can make a play on you. It's you against the golf course, you against somebody, who else is playing well, that type of thing. A lot of pressure on, like you said, Mike, on those putts. But at least there's no flags that can be thrown for a do-over or to move you 8 feet closer for the putt so that you can make an easy putt versus, getting a penalty the way they do it in football. So
that's very true. It's almost, these refs are almost turning us into golf fans, I would say. So a couple more minutes here to get into the Sabo Apparel giveaway, guys. Then I'm going to be pulling. I did not enter this time, so I can't win. Like I accidentally won last week.
True story.
So yeah, get in there. I actually have points. I have 126 points I could put into it, but I'm not going to. So yeah, everybody get in there. You can see some of the t-shirts we've given away in the past. We gave away the Cleveland Lightning one. We've given away a guy named Blake a couple times as well. So you have a 1 in 43 chance right now to win the shirt. Not too bad.
Somebody on Twitter said Ken Carman was talking about Higgins being a healthy scratch, and then he told Lima that he would tell him about it off air. So kind of makes
something
you wonder.
happened.
Something happened.
maybe they traded him. Maybe they got something for him.
Well, we're past the trading deadline, so you can't do that.
Yeah, well, hopefully he didn't do something stupid that got him kicked out of the game. That would be very unfortunate because we need wide receivers, especially ones that can catch the ball. And he had a good relationship with Baker. So let's hope it's nothing, really stupid.
Mike, as you were saying before, like his time in Cleveland's been so odd. It's like he's been productive. He's really dangerous in the red zone, and yet we can't seem to get the ball to him consistently. I don't know if it's because there's not enough balls to go around or
and I think and I think that might be it, because if you don't have Jarvis, right? Because I mean, Jarvis plays the majority of his snaps in the slot. I think that from Jump Street, if they would have thrown Richard in the slot, he would have been a very successful, possession slot kind of guy. But that just wasn't, it wasn't in the cards here. And
you compare them to those guys that they have in Cincinnati now. I mean, like, although they didn't have a good game against us, I mean, today they were lights out against the Steelers, right? So
yeah,
I think looking at what we're going into the draft next year with some holes to fill, you gotta believe wide receiver is going to be at the top of that list.
It has to be. Yeah, it has to be, and it'll make it a lot easier if, well, Eminem, right? Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Well, we need the real Baker Mayfield to stand up, because he needs to show us that he's the guy. Because if he is, and he proves that point, then there's no question of what's going to happen when you go into that first round in April. And I would, I'd bet dollars to donuts, as my dad used to say, that they'll be taking a stud wide receiver in the first round.
Just speaking of Baker, his old college coach, Lincoln Riley, just announced that he's going to USC.
I didn't see that coming, but I guess money talks, right?
It must, right? I mean, I heard the rumors that he's looking at LSU.
Yeah, and if you remember, I can't remember, maybe a year, I think it was 2 years ago, that there were those rumors, and he was like, "Oh no, I love Oklahoma. This is my home. I'm not going anywhere." Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I said money talks, because I'm sure USC backed up the Brinks truck, and he was like, "Yep, I'm out."
Well,
I mean, I don't blame him.
Oklahoma State didn't help matters, so I think he just realized that the season, other than a nice bowl game that they can go to, not the top four, is time to, if he's going to leave, now is the time to do it, get the maximum you can from another school, especially a team or a school that's as desperate as USC is to get their program back. Stanford is struggling as well. They got kicked all over the field by Notre Dame the other day. A fraction of what they used to be when those two teams used to get together. Should Cincinnati be in the top four? I don't think so. I don't think they play a strong enough schedule to supersede an Oklahoma State, a Notre Dame. I don't know who else is up there. Michigan State. So they, it's tough. They should open it up to 8 teams, and then all the controversy is gone. By the time you get down to number 8, whether they get in or not is not that controversial, but certainly the top 4. And a team like Cincinnati would get in the top 8, but then they get beat the first shot out of the box probably, until they get a little stronger.
Well, this is the state of Ohio is 0-1 this weekend against the members of the Harbaugh family. So hopefully we'll be able to even that out at 1-1.
Right.
Because I know there's a lot of Buckeye fans out there that are disappointed in the performance of, Ohio State, who are kind of rebuilding. I guess you could say a little bit.
It's funny you say that, because I was thinking about something yesterday as I was feverish and shaken from the chills. But if you looked at Twitter yesterday, what I found really odd is you look at all the people that are Ohio State and Browns fans, right? Mm-hmm. And the majority of them are like myself. I didn't go to Ohio State, right? That's not my college, but that's my college team. That's who I root for, right? Mm-hmm. But I found it so odd, like the same people that are like in my shoes that really have no tie to it except for, they're from the state of Ohio. We're like, oh, you just don't get it if you would rather see the Browns win over Ohio State. And I just thought that was so odd. Like, comparing college to pro, but at the same time, like if you have no affiliation to something, why would you want them to? Why would you rather them win than the Browns? You know, I mean, I just found it really odd. But
No, I mean, I find it very hard actually to watch college football right now. I think it's I've watched too much of it to see like there's the have and have nots in college football, and once you get the talent, you have the team, the coaching around it. I mean, you can go on some serious runs like Alabama had, Clemson, Ohio State, all this stuff.
there's
We got a dog check.
there it is. Right up to
Final-
game time, he kicks in.
Finally got a dog check in the house. All right, so let's go ahead and pull the winner.
Yeah, and it can't be you. So I mean, it's a good start for everybody.
It cannot. Good luck, everybody. Go ahead and pull it. It is who wins. The contest is finished, but no winner has been randomly selected.
Oh boy,
What?
just when we thought we got you out of there,
randomly
nobody
select a
wins.
winner. Here we go. Hambone's the winner.
Hey,
Hey, Hambone, coming through. Hambone.
congrats.
Yes, congrats. Hambone, shoot me an email, Gmail, browniepostgame@gmail.com. browniepostgame@gmail.com. I think you've won stuff before, so I'm sure you have that. Just give me your address again and your t-shirt size. We'll get it over to our friends, Brian over at Sabo Apparel, and we'll have that shipped out to you.
I was secretly rooting for Steve Sullivan to win now that he's a big time subscriber.
It's funny.
He's
Well,
not going to the game. He's in West Virginia, and he told me he has to get up early tomorrow morning to work, and he can't do that from being in Baltimore at midnight trying to get home to West Virginia. So he sold his tickets, and he's watching just like us on the TV.
Oh, that's just a good point. And guys, so we usually do post-game shows right after. This is going to be a late one, so I'm not going to promise. This is odd that I'm saying this, because we are Brownie post-game, which we may not be doing a post-game show tonight. It's going to come down to a couple things. Number one, I have a very important work-related meeting tomorrow that I can't stay up super, super late because I got to be rearing ready to go for that. But that being said, if we happen to pull off an incredible victory, we may end up still doing a post-game show. I will let you guys know, but I know Mike's not feeling great. My dad's going to be home at that time. So we may end up doing the post-game show tomorrow night. If anybody's available. If not, we'll have the Wednesday, but these 8:30 games are tough. I mean, we're it's not going to wrap up to what, like 11:30 at night, something like that.
Later than that, closer to midnight.
Yeah,
Probably.
closer to midnight.
Closer to midnight, and that's a tough thing for the post game, right? So let's think about.
Gotta go. 8:16, Mike. We gotta go.
Yep. Final thoughts. Dad, start us off with final thoughts.
Final thought, we win 27-20. That's my final thought.
27-20. Mike, what about you?
Wow, when he said 27, I thought, is he going to have my score? I'm going to go 27-24. Our Chase pulls a Tucker.
Oh,
Okay. 27-20. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 33-31 Browns. It's going to be close again, but slightly higher score than you guys. 33-31. Give us your score predictions in the chat too, people. Por favor. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything. If you really want to pay and you want to have access to the emojis and make your name green like Brian and Steve and the rest of Chubba Wubba Hub and all those guys, Ara, then feel free to actually become a member of the channel. You can. If not, it's totally okay. Subscribe to the channel. Do that thing. Like the stream. We got a bunch of people in here. Just even if you don't want to do anything, just hit the like button for me. Help me out. It helps us as a channel, sends those signals to YouTube that people like the show. Other than that, my final thoughts are this, guys. This is an important game. The Ravens are always going to be tough, just like the Steelers are always going to be tough. We're going into really, really deep enemy territory, and this is one that we need. So if we, with our full complements of offense and mostly guys on defense back, this is going to be a litmus test for us. If we don't play well, if we get blown out, that's it, guys. That's all she wrote. I really finally think like the first nail in the coffin is going to be hammered in tonight.
Right.
If we win the game, on the flip side, if we win this, buckle up because we are going to be set up for a very interesting back half of the season. With that, we will say goodnight and go Browns, and we'll see you guys soon. I love you all. Go Browns.
Right.
Brownies.